Hey guys, Sikaal and Opheana here. How you going?
Today we want to talk about change and being open, being willing, being free to make change at any time, to move with change, to turn the corner when it's time to, as if you're in the stream and you move around a rock or a log is in the way, and you just flow with that, being ready for spirit to talk through you when it's time to move, and therefore what that means and how to create your life to support that, which means letting go of whatever is in the way of being free to move with spirit.
Imagine you're a hot air balloon and you have those ropes tying you down and you let them go just before you fly. What we want to bring forth to you today is to actually let the ropes go now and to think about, get guidance on, meditate on what in your life can you change and what do you need to change.
Or why won't you?
Or why won't you? And it's like this string of change. Where are you too stubborn to change and you know you need to where can you be ahead of the game so that you actually start lining up with that leading edge of your life in the now, changing just before you would actually need to, because you're always ahead of the game. It's like playing a game of chess with life and your God presence guiding you and always being a few moves ahead. And it's not about winning or losing, but it's about playing that best possible game for yourself. And so by following that guidance, you will know what needs to be changed, what you need to let go of, and when you need to let go of it.
And to really follow that guidance as it comes, as Sikaal said, you can, if you feel some kind of guidance coming through, to really listen to that and flow with that, even if your conscious mind doesn't know why it's leading you that way. When the change or the corner comes, you'll understand, that's why I felt to let that go. That's why I chose to leave that. That's why that person left my life.
Yep.
That's why I was so guided not to go there or to move or whatever it is. And it all comes together. That's called synchronicity. That's called listening to your guidance so cleanly that you don't have to knock yourself around. You don't have to wait for the rock, for the brick, for the wall to fall on you before you listen, or get so shocked by a change that comes up in your life that your presence was trying to give you whispers, or your guides were whispering. Just let that go, rather than not listening, just really being in tune with that, being in tune with Mother Gaia, all of the messages. It's very clear and clean. If you open up the space for it, allow that communication through, you're going to be ahead of the game in that. I mean, it really is a game in that you can just flow with it. You're like, I knew that move was coming up, but I didn't know why, and now I do. There you go. And you don't need to know everything. We don't need to know, in a psychic type way, the crystal ball way, how it's all going to work out. There can just be the intuition of, this is the next step, and then this is the next step, and it opens up and opens up.
And when you follow those moments of guidance, they'll become streams of guidance, and you'll be able to see further and further down the track. And you'll be like, I don't know why I'm already aligning my raft on this river a little bit to the right, but that's okay. And then later, perhaps maybe 500 meters further down on the river, you'll know, it's so I was in a good position to very gently move around that big rock, rather than having to scramble and hurry and grab onto branches on the side to just make it through. So life becomes more harmonious.
Yes.
And it asks of you to make change when change is due, not to keep piling on and piling on and piling on.
Yeah, the reacting to life in those moments.
It's proactive instead of reactive.
Yes.
And this includes everything that ties you down. And we would go as far as to look at everything that ties you down, including jobs and mortgages and financial situations, even old relationships, friendships, everything where you have a rope to the ground holding you down so that spirit can't pick you up and place you in the next spot you need to be, or in the next circumstance you need to go through, because it's not about moving all the time or having to be in all sorts of different places or with different people. It's about aligning to different circumstances that your spirit is assisting you to move through.
So just doing your pillar now with this information and coming into your center, so breathing up to source, down to Mother Earth's heart, up to source, down to Mother Earth's heart, really feeling that deep, deep, deep connection to your presence, source, running through you into Mother Earth. Full connection with Mother Earth's journey as well. She's going through a huge journey at the moment, and you are with her, and you're going through a huge journey on top of that, and she's with you, and so we're all together going through this big journey and being so light in your everyday life that you can move with those changes, you can move with those transformations. You're not being held back because it gets more and more and more uncomfortable.
And it doesn't mean you're the leaf that blows around in the
drifting.
wind, or you're the cork that drifts on the seas. No, you are that light bird that guides and flows and maneuvers. Even ahead of time, you almost know what currents are coming before they actually come. And it is that alignment to true spirit, which is what you get through meditation and through connecting in with your spirit,
Yes.
connecting into Gaia, feeling that flow. That will assist you through your heart and your intuition and your guidance. And then at times you're going to power ahead by doing things and you don't even know why, or sometimes you hold back, you sit tight, you relax because you know there's a storm coming, and that's what you move through.
Settling in time, that's right. It's rest time, it's rejuvenation time. Really flowing with that. It's not always about the change of doing. It can be about the change of more being, the change of more meditation, the change of just being okay with who you are right now, without any achievement, without any doings, without anything external from yourself showing anything for moving forward. And to really come to a place of looking at the areas where you're maybe being a bit stubborn, where you're waiting for the right time to sell your property to free you up from the mortgage, or you're waiting until you get a payout from the job, or you're waiting until you just have to support somebody just that little bit longer until they're okay, but your guidance is it's their journey now, I need to let them have their journey.
Or
it's
because
okay.
you owe it to someone or a situation. It means you take everything into account. However, your guidance, the quicker you listen to it, the more subtle it will be. And then you will listen to those subtleties. And again, that's what really puts you in a position in life where the stress can go down. Because you know you're light, you're flexible, you can move, you're not burdened down. And this is when you're on this path of ascension, like we know you guys are, that's what's being asked of you. And you may have noticed change is going faster and faster and faster. As Gaia ascends and moves faster, you're being asked to do that. And the more you let change pile up and you don't deal with it, it's going to be like not doing your filing. Before you know it, you can drown in it or feel like it's burdening you down. So get onto it and get that sorted. So make a list of changes you might need to make, and then get ahead of the game.
It really is time to clean house, to minimalize on all areas, because the way of consumerism, the way of getting more, the way of externalizing your needs, going outside of yourself to be fulfilled, it's done now. That's sort of the old way. It is the old way, and it's really time to up the commitment and the willingness and the decisive energy, while nurturing yourself through that process, while allowing the process, but to make a clear choice to commit to that. And that can just be meditating every day, just allowing some guidance through, really checking in, rather than this mind chatter of must do this, got to do this, got to pay the bills, got to pick up the kids, got to do this, got to do that. You know, all of those musts, need to move forward, need to pay the mortgage so that I can do this. Of course I can't leave my job, I've got all of these bills. well, what if you didn't have a mortgage, and what steps would it take to not have a mortgage so that all these must, shoulds aren't there, so that you can really be on your beautiful balloon?
Hot air balloon. And the concept of, I think it's nice to just share that as an idea. The concept of a mortgage and owning a house is always very interesting, because and we've been homeowners and we've rented, and we've done both of it, so we can talk from both sides. When you own a home, you actually own a mortgage, and there's a risk attached to it, because at the end of the line you don't know what your home is going to be worth and sell for, so you actually don't know whether you're up or down. Renting has its ups and downs too, but the idea of a mortgage as the only way because it creates security is a little bit of an illusion.
Big illusion.
And it actually ties you down as one of those cords of your hot air balloon. Now, we're not saying, okay, go and sell your house and get rid of it. However, it is a consideration that...
Only if it's an anchor.
Only if it's an anchor for you, if it's weighing you down and keeping you from transitioning, keeping you from making
freedom.
A move to freedom.
We see it all the time.
That your presence is wanting you to make. Because it's a tie down to the material world, it's a tie down into third density, and it does not mean that immediately you need to take action, but you need to seriously consider the idea, what does it do for me? Is it holding me down into a false sense of security? Is it projecting forward, I am a homeowner? And if there's all sorts of ego layers connected to that identity, it might be something your spirit is asking you to look at. And the same goes for if you are in a certain job where you have a status connected to that. It means per definition you're not going to be growing through that layer unless you change either your inner attitude or you change that job or the way you're looking at it. So with anything in your life basically where you are dependent about how others perceive you and feed you energy, those are going to be the ties Spirit is going to ask you to look at and let go of, especially to the audience we're communicating with, because we know what resonant frequency you are at. So you're going to be asked to look at those things, and that is, the change that you are being asked to make. So you can either let it pile up or start to flow gracefully with it and embrace the adventure. And that's scary at times, but life here is an adventure, remembering that it's an incarnation from your God presence level. And it is one small part of who you are. You are eternal. So start seeing it from both points of view, from your God presence and spirit point of view, and from your smaller you here, who has a large role here. But remember, you're both. So the more you let spirit be infused into your life, the more brave and courageous you're going to become, and the better a life you're going to have aligned with your highest potential timeline.
So what would you do if money wasn't in your life? You didn't need it. Would you be working at the job that you're working at? If it's a no, then you need to change it. If you are in a house that isn't exactly what you want, then maybe you need to change that. If you're in a relationship and you need to support others, or any areas where you feel the shoulds, the limitations because of money or because of blood or because of the programs, any kind of program. We work with many people that still have the program that they need the security of a home. And it's a base, it's the base chakra thing is security. However, we're at a new time now, and we can't really own anything. We can't own land. I'm really passionate of the last year of just, we don't own pets. We don't own pets. I want to let the horses out that are up the road. They run up and down this paddock and they want to be free. We don't own anything. We have a dog. We made that choice years ago. She is definitely going from 2D to 3D because she is a pure spirit of love, and we've been blessed with her, and we've blessed her as much as we can. However, it's not really our right to take on an animal and, take away that free will of you stay within these fence lines, and that's the way that it is. You eat what we give you.
And it is, obviously it's a contractual agreement on a spirit level that they have a role here as well. But moving forward to a next version of reality in fourth density, there's a freedom involved in that for animals and other beings as well. The idea of looking at being as free as you possibly can so you have the best version of your life, all of this is connected to that.
So if there is concerns or fears or mental ideas, limiting beliefs that, they're talking rubbish, of course we need to have a job and we need to pay the bills and we need to do this, that and the other. Yes, we're in 3D at this stage, and to a certain extent you've got to play the game. However, if you play it well, you don't need to limit yourself so much that you have to continue to slave in that job that you're like, and you can say, but I enjoy it. Crapola, it's time to really own you enjoy it. Does it fill your heart with so much joy that this is your passion, this is your way of life? That's the way that you should be living, is literally letting spirit run through you, not going by the boxes of what the way that the employers tell you, this is how you have to do it, this is the way, this is the time that you get up, this is the time that you leave, these are the people you have to work with, and you do as you ask, or you're going to get a little smack on the hand. Is it really what you want? And so looking at, how is it really, can I live a life where I don't have to do that? Minimalism, number one. Bring everything back. If you have to sell your house, move to another area, go right back to basics. Right back to basics. What are your basic needs? It is the theme running through this earth at the moment.
Yeah.
It is the theme. What are the needs, the basic needs? When you look at the storms, the hurricanes that are happening on the earth, that's going to happen more and more because there's just so much earth energy is just pulsing and pulsing. So what are those people's basic needs? They just need their basic needs met, and then you can sit in meditation and guess what? You have everything. Everything is there. And so remembering that, what do you need? And then with those basic needs met, spirit can speak through you. Your spirit can speak through you. That is all you need. And then from there, all of your needs will be met. But to stop living outside of your needs, stop going beyond that into worldly desires, into must-haves, should do, got to have the latest this or that. Why? Really drop a deeper level of why do I feel I need to have that?
If you look at the full spectrum, and a lot of us have been trained in third density to some degree growing up, and some of us are still right there right now, and that's totally fine. But it's about, one side of the spectrum is that 5% or the 1% or whatever you want to call it that gets to financial freedom. There's not a lot of freedom there because you're locked into holding on to what you've created and even amassing more. The other side of the spectrum is to go full minimalist, and that's scary for a lot of people because it feels and is lined up with, you haven't succeeded, you haven't achieved what the 5% have achieved, what everybody is striving towards, so you have failed. The idea is that you're here on a mission from your spirit, and what we notice with ourselves and pretty much all of the clients that we work with through our sessions is that everybody is being asked to align to a lighter version of their life. And one of the exercises that you can do for yourself with a little bit of seriousness there is, how could you live your current life on 50% of your budget? And that may mean things like, okay, I got to change where I live, how much mortgage or rent I pay. I got to change the private schools of the kids. I got to change the exorbitant habits I have of going out and drinking and eating, and maybe one of the two cars has got to go, and I got to get a smaller phone or whatever. Look at the opportunities you have there to at least align a little bit more with spirit.